Alright, welcome back. It has been a minute. I'm many races behind on my breakdowns, but today we're at Dash for Cash, and this is a P23 race that had over 50 people pre-regged for it. So, I'm feeling a little bit of imposter syndrome going into this thing. I'm looking at these twos that are pretty fast. I'm a recent 3, Cat 3 that is. And I'm really not sure what to expect on the day, but I know I'm going to give it my all. Our team has 6 riders. A handful of them are 2s, a handful of them are 3s, and we've got our big dog sprinter Kevin today. So we're all riding in such a way that we're trying to be in moves and be represented. And he's kind of sitting back and saying, "Hey, if the race comes down to it, I'm gonna put my sprint out there." So that's kind of our plan on the day: cover moves, be in the mix, be able to respond to moves, and hopefully come out on top. That's the goal, right? As a team, we want to come out on top. So we're going along the course here. This course looks extremely boring. You look at this and go, "Chris, this looks like a snooze fest." 4-corner crit where you can take the corners, almost every corner. If you take the right line, you can pedal through it. You don't have to stop pedaling. This is a 50-minute race, and if you had choice lines for all 50 minutes, your feet would not stop moving if you didn't want them to. So yeah, we're coming around for our lap. There are many big teams here. Mike's Bikes had 7, we had 6, Penn Velo had 3 or 4. There's a couple smaller teams with hitters, like the Enjoy team with Cody. Oh, he just came up on my right-hand side. There he is right there. Man's got quads the size of redwood trees. Look at him go. So yeah, like I said, big names in here. And I'm just thinking, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to race with purpose and try to come out with a good result. You can see by the arrows, there's this cross headwind. So coming down that backstretch, there was a headwind that turned into a crosswind here. I wanted to highlight one of the things I felt I did good, which was preparing to take a line that kept me sheltered and that allowed me to move up with a little less power. So a lot of times the peloton would swing out to the right a little, or to the left a little farther, and if I was off to the right, I was sheltered the whole time, and I could put down a little less power and make up a few wheels as it started to squeeze back over. So I was happy with that. I was happy with how I rode that, and I tried to replicate it when it arose as an opportunity during the race when I could. I'm not a huge guy. I don't have incredible sustained power to sit out in the wind. So at every opportunity, if I can stay sheltered, reduce kind of how spiky everything is and smooth it out and keep my heart rate kind of low, that was kind of the goal, right? Oh, here's another thing I think I did well. I'm starting to fill the space, right? So I drive into this gap here and I say, hey, that's my space. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to leave it open for another rider to slot in. I don't think I would have done that last year as a 4. And it takes a certain level of confidence to drive into those holes and own the space around you that was previously unoccupied. So I didn't do it every time. There's lots and lots of opportunities for me to improve how I ride, how efficiently I ride, and the way that I move through the peloton, right? There's tons of opportunities, but I wanted to point that one out and kind of showcase what it looks like when you do drive into that hole and assert yourself in there and don't lose any wheels as a result of that. If I hadn't done that, I probably would have been 3 or 4 wheels back, etc. So yeah, moving on from there, as you can see, we're moving at 30 miles an hour. We averaged 28.5. Oh, there's Kevin. It's our sprinter. So I'm on Kevin's wheel now. But yeah, we averaged 28.5 for the whole race. So it was a pretty fast race overall. I knew it would be this way. I knew it would be fast from the get-go. And mainly I was trying to conserve and not not do as much work as everyone else, right? As much as possible. Here's another opportunity where I was able to move up for free a little bit. For some reason, a lot of people were off to the left-hand side of the road here, and I found certain times I could stick to the right and cut the path down. Oh, I'm being yelled at. I'm being yelled at by a guy right now because I'm not shooting this gap. And I'm not really interested in shooting the gap and spending a lot of power to get to the front to eat wind and spend more power. So he didn't like that. He did say, "Come on, you're my doppelganger." We were riding the same bike. So I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, I was cutting that inside line when possible. When the peloton drifted out to the left, I would take the right if it wasn't going super fast. And again, just try to get some wheels at minimal cost to meet energy-wise. Right now, Donnie is going to pop off a sprint to bridge to a 3-man break. And I figured this is my best moment to do it as well. So Donnie goes, I go, and I really hit it here super fast. I'm pedaling, and you might have heard it. That little clip sound was me clipping my pedal on the ground at 34 miles an hour. I looked back and I didn't see Donnie on my wheel, so maybe he felt like it was too much of an effort, or he didn't want to spend the energy for it. But either way, I bridged up to these guys, and you can see my heart rate now, 183. My max heart rate, like physical max, is probably in like 188, right? So this was a big effort. Was it worth it? Probably not. Did I have to go that hard? Probably not. But in the moment, I felt like getting across to the move, getting our team represented, and kind of rolling the dice. Hey, let's see how this goes. Was the right decision. In this group, we have this rider here. I think that's a Cognition rider. There's a Alto Velo rider, and then there's Mitch on the Velo Kings, who those are kind of the three plus me in this little move here. And generally, I'm taking pulls about as hard as I can while still sitting at 180 BPM. I think Mitch wanted the $10 preems, and I think I should have mentioned that Dash for Cash has $10 for the first person to cross the line every single lap. So the race gets really interesting because there are some people racing for $10 at a time and some people who are racing for single results. It makes it a lot of fun. It keeps the race super interesting, and there's always someone looking to grab a couple of $10 preems in a row or stack them up. And the result is that these breakaways go more often, maybe, than if there was no incentive, not as much incentive to go off the front. But yeah, I'm sitting in here and it just hurts. Like, there's no real other way to put this. It just hurts. So we're gonna fast forward to where something else does change and I make a mistake. Let's go forward. Rolling along. Great. Okay. So here's where I make a mistake. I look behind me and see a Tarun rider rolls up onto my wheel and bridges as well, making 5 of us. I thought he would just slot in and pull through, but he sat on my wheel and was like, "Hey, I need a break." Naturally, he just bridged across. But by the time I kind of realized that and was registering it, was like, okay, we need to get back up there, this gap had formed, and I don't have much left in the legs. I just don't have it. So I tailed myself off of this breakaway. I should have just stuck to the Cognition guy's wheel and just, called it. But I was hurting really badly and thought, oh, maybe sitting at the back would be better. Yeah, well, I dropped myself off from this thing. Lesson learned. Just need more experience riding in breaks. Really, I think is really where it's at. Here's another thing. For all my examples of where I did a good job of drafting and driving into the gap. This is the opposite of that, and I'm doing that later in the race. I'm just letting this gap sit here, and like I could be doing less work and less power if I was just on the wheels in front of me, and I would potentially, luckily I don't have anyone trying to slot in front of me, but if I did, I'd be losing positions during that time. So while there were plenty of things I did well in this race, and I think I raced like pretty well overall, there are areas for improvement. Oh, this guy just like came across my front wheel, minor lapse in concentration, thought that I would go around him on the outside based on his body language, and then he stands up and sprints across my wheel. I almost take out our other rider, Gabe, there on the left because of this, because he came across my front wheel so abruptly. So you do have to stay on your on alert, right? Sometimes riders behave pretty unpredictably, and yeah, it's not good. Oh, here we go. Oh, the term bunching results in crunching. Kind of shows itself off here. The momentum really came out of the group all at once heading into that right-hand corner. The entire road filled and compacted, and what do you know, someone almost went down. The guy in the green, I have to say, did an incredible job. He came unclipped, almost lost it, and somehow kept it upright. So kudos to him. Good job. Really, there weren't too many sketchy moments in this race, at least not for me, and I didn't see that many around me. But that was probably the worst of them. Well, until it wasn't sketchy, it was a bad moment, which we're going to come up on here eventually, foreshadowing some unfortunate things happen later in this race. But for now, we're at 2 to go, and off to my left is Nick Lamb here. Nick Lamb was on our team until last weekend, and Work Health has poached him. He's a big boy who puts out some watts, so I definitely was keeping my eyeball on him now that he went from friend to foe in the peloton, right? Got to mark him out. I know that he has a big sprint and he has big power numbers. So anyway, we're two to go, and something that I've been trying to work on as a rider is later in these races having the mental capacity and the ability to maintain my current position and not go backwards, right? When there's only 2 laps or 1 lap to go, you can't really afford to just slide back 10 wheels, because making those wheels back up is going to be so hard on the last lap, right? And what I was focusing on with 2 laps to go is maintain position or move forward. That's really the only 2 options. So I'm just scanning for ways to go forward or stay where I'm at based on my positioning. And that kind of, I feel, did work for me in this race. I was able to do a better job of maintaining and or moving forward at the end of the race than I have in past races. So it's just always scanning the road ahead and saying, where's a hole? Can I fill it? Can I go? Speaking of that, we're going to see the speed kind of come out of the peloton here and we widen out. And right here, I remember thinking, like, where I'm going to place my bets, but what side of the road is really going to open up for me here? Because this is the last lap, right? I get pinched out here. I don't think I could have shot that gap. If I shot that gap, we would all had a problem. But now at this point, I'm just saying nobody gets to go in front of me anymore, right? Like, it's like I'm driving into wheels in front of me and trying to maintain that forward momentum and generally moving forward. And the peloton, like the tip of the peloton is right in front of me, and I get a flat. This is super dangerous. I get a flat, and then there's this massive pile up here in the corner. That sucked. I went instantly flat. When I reviewed the footage, it looks like I hit a blue reflector, and I don't know what was I might have had a rock like stuck in my wheel that hadn't gone through yet, and I hit the blue reflector and it punched it through or something. but my tire had like a pretty big hole in it afterward. I'm gonna have to get a new one. Uh, but talk about having the worst timing ever going into the final corner. We're doing 30 plus miles an hour, and you get an instant flat. And now all of a sudden, instead of doing 32, you're doing 22 with guys whooshing by you on both sides. I put my hand up. I did what I could, but yeah, no result today. On the heels of a flat just before the final corner. I was feeling super good too. I was pretty prepared to fight it out and sprint for maybe a top 10 finish in this really stacked race. But, you know, the cards were dealt. Maybe hindsight, I was okay with the result because when I looked at where I was in that pack and then who went down, I think there's a good chance that I would have been stuck in that. Or, I mean, maybe I would have made it through, maybe not. But, you know, yeah, you can't really know for sure. But overall, I mean, I wish the best to the guys that heal up. A lot of those guys that went down, I race with them week in, week out. I ride around the Bay Area with them. I hope that they can heal up soon, get back out there, and that everything ends up okay with them. Luckily, our team did take first. Kevin was on the front in the back stretch, put down a bunch of watts, went first in the right-hand corner, and then punched it again. He had 2 kicks available to him, so his fitness was good, and he really rode very efficiently. Yeah, so we took the dub as a team, and I kind of reassured that, hey, I can play bikes with the Cat 2s. I'm not afraid of you, Cat 2s. I might not be a breakaway rider yet, because I had to drop myself out of that. That was too hard. But yeah, I'm getting more comfortable with the idea that I can punch up there with the bigger dogs in the NorCal scene. So yeah, that's it for today. I've got to go back into a backlog and do like 5 more videos on previous races, which hopefully I'll work through pretty soon. But until the next time, see ya.